just gonna die in the end. Okay, guys, I want to try something new today. Well, actually, something borrowed today. Over at the Goosh, our Patreon, Gimster has been supporting a series of vids over there, reacting to a YouTuber named Mini Lad as he reads these r/NoSleep stories. It's been a lot of fun and was really fascinating to me. So I want to be right up front. I wanted to read one of these stories for you guys, see if you're interested in doing this type of video. And I just want to be right up front and give all credit to Mini Lad, because this is an idea definitely borrowed right directly from him. But what I'd like to find out is if you do like doing this, let me know in the comments. But beyond that, I'm not much of a Redditor. So if you guys have good stories, or it doesn't have to be in this category, in any category, and anywhere on the internet, good stories for reading, hit me with them. Hit me with links in the comments. And if enough of you seem to enjoy doing this, I'll start going through those and give thumbs up to the links that you guys think, just like we do with the Epic Rap Battles of History videos. And again, nobody get concerned. We're going to continue going through it. I love ERB. We're going to continue that. This is just something I wanted to try out and see if it's fun for everybody. I'm looking forward to it. But again, by all means, hit me up. Let me know if you like it, and hit me up with links for stories, whatever, any types of readings that you'd like to see here. Now, I went into this r/NoSleep, and I'm going to put a link to Mini Lad's channel in the description of this vid too, because again, I appreciate the fact that I borrowed the idea of doing this from him. So I went into this r/NoSleep, and I just wanted to take a story that captured me by title, because I don't want to read it first. You get a better reaction, I think, if I just read it live with you guys. This one is why I stopped playing in the woods as a kid. Now, a lot of things come to mind why I might stop playing in the woods as a kid, but when I was a little kid, I would go to my grandmother's house and play with my cousins down in Schenectady, New York. And there's a Central Park. It's actually called Central Park up there. And we had a pervert up in those woods. They called him the Banana Man because he wore a big yellow slicker and he would expose himself. Never exposed himself to me because I never got any attention because I was an ugly kid. But, yeah, so that would be a reason to stop playing in the woods. But I picked this because at that time we lived way out in the country, my family and I played in the woods endlessly. And the woods can be creepy as shit. It plays with your mind being out there all alone, the things you hear. And some of it's just creepy in your mind stuff. And others, it's like, yeah, it could be any kind of animal out there or something. But I don't know what this is going to be. But seeing as how it's why I stopped playing in the woods as a kid, and that was my upbringing, I want to give it a try and just see if you guys enjoy doing this with me. Come on, let's read. All right, here we go. As a kid, I felt very alone. My dad left when I was very young, and my mother was always too distracted to give me any attention. Well, I didn't have those issues. I didn't have any friends, and to be honest, I didn't want to make any. Very sociable. I was very introverted. So, as a kid, I had to spend my time doing something, or I would be stuck in this sorrowful abyss I called home life. So, every evening, I wandered through the woods near our house. Okay, I can identify with the wandering through the woods. Fortunately, didn't have a lot of the issues that he did. And I already know when I need to spend my time doing something as an adult, you guys know what it is. I know it sounds weird, but the woods were a very comforting place for me. That's not weird. The ambient sounds of leaves rustling and the wind howling brought me peace. It was also a place away from my mother, who probably saw me as an annoyance. She probably wouldn't have given two damns if I died in those woods. She would probably just stay in her little office, sipping bourbon and doing whatever workload her boss bestowed on her. She had no time for me, so I had no time for her. Yow. Anyways, back to the woods. I would let my imagination go wild in there. My imagination would make the trees clear and transform them into the Hogwarts castle from Harry Potter, or the Lonely Mountain from The Hobbit. Of course, when I was a kid, none of that stuff was around yet. My childhood memories didn't come from time spent with friends or family, but rather the stories I enacted in those woods. I daydreamed of fighting dragons and wizards with random sticks I found on the ground. Did that. I built huts out of tree branches and pretended they were fortresses or castles. This imaginative world overshadowed this bleak reality that I was living in. That's reasonable. I longed for the woods so much that when I was supposed to sleep, I stared out the window into the deep neck of the woods, longing for adventure. The nighttime was also a time where my imagination really started to get to me. I would see things, figures in the woods. A tree could be a mangled monster, and the branches would be twisted, disproportionate limbs. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't identify. But if I stared long enough, I would realize what the nightmarish contraption really was, and I wouldn't be scared anymore. But one time, one late night where I just couldn't get myself to close my eyes, I saw something that surely wasn't my imagination. It surely wasn't. And stop calling me Shirley. I put that in there. I stared at it for a long time, blinking and shaking my head a few times just to make sure what I was seeing was truly there. It was a humanoid figure, pale in appearance. Its pale glow was a harsh contrast to the dark and twisty woods around it. I don't know why I wasn't scared. I was intrigued, actually. Was this a figment of my wild imagination or something real? I needed to see it up close. I just needed to. Well, now see, I'm with him on part of that. I would have been scared, but I would have needed to see it. Yeah, you got to see what it is, but I would have been scared. I quickly changed into some jeans and quietly trotted out of my room so my mom couldn't hear me. I slipped on my Skechers, and they didn't have Skechers when I was a kid either, and slowly slid open the door to the porch. Once I was outside, I scanned the area. The figure was gone. I figured it went deeper in the woods, so that's where I went, deep into the neck of the woods. I would have done that. The wind tunneled through my ears as I made my journey deeper and deeper into the forest, and then the sound of the wind started to fade. The familiar sound of rustling leaves started to fade too. It was dead silent. Okay, that's creepy. I couldn't even hear the sound of my footsteps. Then, the trees seemed to disappear around me. I was surrounded by a black void. Well, I goddamn hate it when that happens. Then I saw something creep out from the darkness. It was hard to see at first, but as it crept closer, its form became more clear. It bore a toothy grin that went all the way up to its small, beady eyes. Its skin was moldy gray, and it stood quite a few feet above me. Does he have a grandma or something, maybe? I don't know. I started to hear again, but it wasn't the sounds of the forest. It sounded like TV static. We stood there staring at each other while the buzz of TV static infested my ears. Then it spoke. You are alone, aren't you? Sorry. It whispered, its thin lips straining over its large teeth with every syllable. I didn't respond. I just kept standing there, my young mind trying to process what was in front of me. It was silent for a few minutes, and then it spoke again. I see you here every day, you know. I know the places you go when you are alone. I don't know why I think he would have that accent, but I'm sure he would. I'm freaking myself out. I knew what it was talking about. Hogwarts, fighting monsters, all of it. He saw what I saw, and I suddenly felt like I found some sort of friend. In my silence, I gave it a small grin. This doesn't sound like a friend to me. I can take you there, you know. Dude, I guess this kid really doesn't like his home life. The static seemed to get louder around me. I felt less and less connected to reality. It was only me, the static, and the creature standing in front of me. I nodded my head in some sort of approval to the creature's words. Its grin stretched to a strain when it saw me nod. It outstretched its hands like a scarecrow. Its smile faded, but its teeth still showed. Then it screamed. Well, goddamn, that seems a little unreasonable. It was a scream that came from a place of dread and pain. My head started to hurt and my stomach began to churn. The scream pierced my eardrums and I wanted to plug my ears and look away, but I couldn't. I was stuck there, unable to scream or run away. I was in a trance, submitting myself to this monstrosity and letting him take me away. Then I saw a light. No! It must have been early in the morning when I went into those woods because the sun was beginning to shine. And before I knew it, the darkness, the static, and the creature was all gone. Just like that, like it never happened. I stood there, feeling more isolated than I've ever felt. No one was there to save me from the creature's grasp. Not my mother, nor a friend. If the sun didn't rise, it would have taken me. What the fuck? The rest of my childhood was spent in my house alone. I didn't dare go into the woods again after what I experienced. I satisfied my imagination with drawing and writing and never spoke of this experience to anyone until now. Even as an adult, I can still hear it in a silent room, asking me to come with him. All right, I have to admit, I did not have an experience like that when I was out playing in the woods. That's pretty creepy. You know what it made me think of? And I can't think of the name of it. Big surprise. You guys will remind me. It's quite some time ago, we played a game on the channel. That horror game where you have to go. what was it you had to find? You had to find, I can't even remember what it was. Oh, tape recorders. Remember that? You had to find the tape recorders, but when you would get close to the monster, you would hear a static sound. That's what it was making me think of. You guys will know the name of the game. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that game. This was just like, why did it scream? It seemed like it was being I don't know, the creature was being kind of a douchebag. Because for just a moment there, it's like they were going to become friends and they were going to go to Hogwarts and they were going to drink butterbeer together and have a great time. Then all of a sudden he starts screaming and making the kid's stomach hurt and his head hurt. And it just sounds like a douchebag monster. I went, yeah, see, these things to me, that it got so, this went in such a next level direct, I don't know, next level of hard to believe, or next into what not a cult, but out of the realm of what I would find possible. But let's just say this wasn't just a vivid dream that this guy had, or whatever the case may be, which is what I think happened. The big question is, would you go back in the woods again? Probably. I might not. I might not have as a child, but to satisfy my curiosity, had this happened to me, I would have to go back in there as an adult. I would have already done it by now. What about you guys? I know me. I would have to have tried it, and if I never come back, I never come back. I would have gone in, full bore with recording equipment and everything on. Not that that would help if I'm going to be taken into another dimension. I guess I'd probably take my camera too. But yeah, I would have to. I would have to reinvestigate it. I don't think I would have done it as a kid. I'd have just, my balls would have shriveled up and I would have run away just like this guy did. But at some point, I would have had to check it out. Let me know what you guys think about the story, what you would have done, and also if you want to continue these, and if so, hit me with some recommendations. I'm gonna go walk in the woods.